So a few months ago I posted a video in March regarding the Ridge Racer series, and it was really cool seeing how people seemed to like watching the video, reminiscing on this once great franchise that was lost to time. But there was something that kept catching my eye in that video. I kept getting comments on not only to play the rest of the series, but to play a surprisingly good PSP version that was released in 2006 called Ridge Racer 2. Now, I don't know about you, but the PSP was one of my favorite childhood systems. I cannot tell you how many great titles that were out for it. SOCOM Fireteam Bravo was such an amazing gem. Those people that played it know what I'm talking about. The Midnight Club series had surprisingly great ports to the system. I mean, there's so much more, but that's just to name a few. The PSP was something that felt futuristic at the time, with great games that till this day are a blast to play. However, I could not for the life of me remember or never saw the Ridge Racer series on the PlayStation Portable. And I didn't even know that till the video went up that people were saying there was a game on the hardware. So, I decided to give it a try, since on the PlayStation 5, if you navigate over to the PS Plus Classics, you can buy it. And just like I did previously to play Ridge Racer Type 4, I did the same thing with this. And I thought to myself, there's no way Bandai Namco would go all out on a portable version of Ridge Racer. Right? So I have two questions. One, why does Ridge Racer craft the perfect intro cinematic for all of their games? Seriously, this should be studied. It's a work of art in my personal opinion. My second question is, where the hell was this game when I was a kid? I would have loved this. I cannot tell you how many hours I sank into Midnight Club 3 on my PlayStation Portable to the point where I had over tens of millions of dollars. This game is perfect for on-the-go action. It has the classic tour modes from the original Ridge Racer series, duel mode, time attack, survival, as well as a custom tour mode designated towards how much playtime you want to put in the game so that it encourages pick up and play action. Genius. Freaking genius, dude. This game surprised me on a lot of levels, figuratively and literally. The tracks in this game are phenomenal. There are 42 tracks, and that are not only new, but some of them take from existing tracks that are already in the series and put them in this game. Or you could say, in your pocket. Get it? It's a PSP gem. Anyways, the series kept on impressing me with how good the game runs, and I seriously mean this. It is a buttery smooth 60 FPS, like a lot of other Ridge Racers, and it not only ran 60 FPS on the PS5, with no surprises, but also did on the original hardware back then, so that was awesome. Sure, the game might not look like much when you're playing on your PS5 blown up on a TV screen nowadays, but just keep in mind, the game is from 2006, okay? So, man, I feel really old saying that. Now, I will admit, PlayStation did a very odd job cleaning up this title. So, for instance, when you're perusing the menus, some of the fonts look a bit muddy and blurry, but once you're in the game, everything looks a lot sharper, like the stages and tracks. Except for the car models, which, for some reason, the font on them still looks like a YouTube video rendered in 144p. It's very strange. I don't know why PlayStation just didn't make everything look sharper. Nonetheless, it definitely won't deter your experience when playing, which is to have fun. Now, what's a racing game without a good handling model? Well, I will say if you've never played a Ridge Racer game before, you will definitely have an adjustment period with this. But for those series veterans like myself and many others, you will feel fine and right at home. The handling model feels great pulling off drifts around high-speed corners, using nitrous to keep momentum up hills and or overtake your opponents. One of the things I did notice is that when you hit an opponent car in this game, it just feels odd, to say the least.
Okay.
The one thing I can't fathom is why I didn't get this game or hear about it during my younger days. And, well, unfortunately, this game didn't sell all that well in the States, and figures barely were making just under 150,000 copies. And that's not a determining number either. There are numbers all over the place on the internet, except the one common theme is that this game sold really bad. I don't know how, I don't know why, but considering that the previous game on the PSP that was called Ridge Racer nearly sold over 1 million units because it was a launch title for Sony's handheld, it's just really sad because when you look back on the reviews for this series, this game was favored greatly. It's just not enough people bothered playing it or buying it, and that's just heartbreaking. When it came to PSP ports of franchises, they went in a few directions. One was that they were built from the ground up on the hardware. Two, they took the console version of which was out on the PlayStation 2 and crammed it into the device. And the final direction was, well, they just didn't make a good game and or port. And it was really hit or miss. This game feels like it took the first game for the PSP, added a shit ton of content, and said, here, have fun. I mean, hell, it even has that cool little minigame called Rally X before the game boots up that you can play. You know, the game that introduced you to stress when you were a kid. At least for me it did. I mean, I played this game on a plug-and-play Namco system back then. Remember those things? They were pretty cool. And now instead of giving me stress, this game gives me anger all those years later.
God damn it!
I know in my previous video I said that this is one of the ultimate pick up and play game franchises, and I still stand by that. You go in expecting to play for about 10 minutes, and next thing you know, an hour flies by. Ridge Racer will always be one of my favorite arcade racing games. It still stands the test of time, and being able to go back to a series, no matter the entry, and just have a reminder and a word that seems to be forgotten in racing games these days, called fun. Now, is the series perfect? Absolutely not. No series is. Nonetheless, it is a game franchise that I cannot recommend enough to people who just want to have some casual racing fun, solo, or with friends. I was pleasantly surprised by this entry, and to be honest, did not even think that Bandai would try so hard on giving the ultimate portable experience. Even people saying online that this game is pretty much a greatest hits of the Ridge Racer series, all packed into one. I hope games like this hold us over until Bandai Namco decides to revive the franchise and make a triumphant return. But I don't know, maybe that's just the optimistic racing fan in me talking, but who knows, maybe one day this franchise will start up its engine once again.